Hi, I'm Robin Veda. Welcome to this very brief yoga practice. Today, I want to break down for you what comfortable seat means when your yoga teacher says it. Oftentimes, at the beginning of class, your teacher will say, "Come to a comfortable seat." What does that mean? Well, it starts with your pelvis. That's really the most important part of a comfortable seat. So, what we want to do with the pelvis is tip it slightly forward so that our low back doesn't have to kind of work to keep us sitting up. If you notice, maybe you can see, I don't know. When I'm sitting straight on the ground, the pelvis is kind of tucked under a little bit. That means the tailbone kind of feels like it's rooting down and going under. And what that does is it means in order to sit upright, I have to have my belly turned on, I have to have my back muscles turned on, and everything is just kind of holding my spine in place. But when I slide just a little something underneath me, and this is just a throw pillow from the couch. You can put anything, a rolled up blanket, a towel, whatever you have, underneath you. It tips the pelvis forward just a little bit. So the tailbone should feel like it's getting a little bit lighter, and then the front of the pelvis feels like it's moving down towards the ground. And that just a little bit of tip helps me to set the spine up so that my belly doesn't have to work. I can actually let my belly get really soft here, and my back doesn't have to work. And for you, it may look a little bit different. So you may need more cushion under you, or you may need to lean up against something and you may need to put something below your low back. If you're a person who has a lot of back pain, especially low back pain, that can be a real thing. So if you need to sit up against a wall, I would recommend something underneath your butt and then also something underneath your back. So a pillow like this or even something skinnier might work. Just stick it right there at the low back, not the upper back. Definitely below the rib cage, below the bra strap line if you're a person who wears a bra. So that can be a very comfortable way to sit. And really what you'll feel is the belly moving forward just a little bit. So I want you to not be self-conscious about having your belly sticking out, right? Sometimes we get really trained in society to always be sucking our belly in and never let anybody know that we have a belly. It's okay. When you're in yoga practice, when you're in meditation, one of our things is just getting comfortable in our own skin. So I know that can take a little bit of practice, but the nice thing is right now, you're practicing at home alone. You don't have anybody else that needs to see you, hopefully. Maybe your dog is watching, maybe your kids are running around. Whatever it is, wherever you are, that's fine. But I do recommend, if you can, especially if you're coming into meditation, find a place where you can close the door, even if it's just for a little bit, even if it's just in your bathroom. Maybe that's not the most ideal place, but maybe it's the only place. Maybe it's in your car. We can figure out how to do these things in such a way that it kind of incorporates into our lives. Maybe it's not ideal. Maybe we don't have a retreat to go to, but we can find a way, right? Okay, so this is an option, cross-legged. By cross-legged, I mean just one foot in front of the other, one shin in front of the other. That can be great. Another great way to sit can be on your knees. Some people are more comfortable on their knees. Now, if you have really loose legs, really happy knees, just sit right on your heels. This is not really sustainable for a long time, but it does help you tip your pelvis forward. One thing that can help, again, just a little cushion. You might need an even bigger cushion than that. When you put a cushion down for you're seated on your knees, I want you to make sure that you're not slipping that cushion all the way into the knee creases, because that actually can get pretty painful. What we want to do is just set whatever you've got on top of your heels. Sometimes that's actually blocks. If something kind of more firm feels better to you, that's fine. I like something soft, like a cushion, so we can sit like that. One other option that I just want to go over with you, and I'm going to have to run across the room real quick, so wait a sec. Just a regular old chair. This one's got a sock on the bottom. Seated in a regular old chair can be just fine. This is a stool. You could have a kitchen chair. You could have whatever, as long as we can just gently tip that pelvis forward. So when I'm seated on a chair, I like to sit on the very edge of it so I can feel that pelvis tipping just slightly forward and the spine stacking up. If you have a chair with a back on it, one thing that you can do can be exactly like we did with the wall, which is, imagine there's a back on this chair, right? And if I scooted my butt to the back, I could stick a little pillow underneath there, and then I would feel that gentle pushing forward of the belly, that gentle tipping forward of the pelvis, and I could sit up tall, right? So setting up your pose using your pelvis as your guideline, that's your base. And then from there, what we're going to do is focus on the rest of the body. So you set up your base, which is your pelvis. And from there, we're going to think about stacking up the spine. What does stacking up the spine mean? Well, we've already alluded to it. The belly kind of travels forward because the spine is like a gentle S curve, right? Forward and then back. So what we should feel is something along the lines of belly slightly forward, shoulders right over where the hips are, ears right over where the shoulders are. So another area of body consciousness that can sometimes happen is it kind of feels like going double chinned. And I know that if you've got other people around you, that can be kind of a self-conscious thing. But hopefully you've set up your space here at home where nobody's around and you can practice that. And then someday when you go back into a studio and you're around dozens of people, you can not care, right? Hopefully that's the goal. It's fine. We all have bodies. Your body is fantastic just as it is. So embrace your little double chin that happens. Chin draws back, ears right over the shoulders. Back of the neck feels long. Now, hands can rest on the lap. One thing I want to note is the hands aren't grabbing onto the knees. Sometimes you see pictures of yoga postures, in which you have someone in a lotus pose and they're holding onto their knees and everything looks super fancy. Now, you can do that. That's fine. One reason why we do lotus posture is just because it pins the knees down and helps tip the pelvis forward. That's really it. It's not because it's any better than any of the other postures. Holding on to the knees in lotus pose can make sense because your pelvis is tipped so far forward that that's where your hands naturally land. But when you're just sitting in a posture like this, it's much better to start first with the alignment of your elbows. So your elbows are right down by your sides. Now, wherever your hands naturally land on your lap from there, that's great. That's where they're supposed to be. So, just to go over everything, we've got our pelvis tipped slightly forward. We've got the spine stacked up so that we can soften the belly and soften the back, and we don't have to use those muscles to hold ourselves up. Then we've got the shoulders drawing back to stack right over the hips. The ears drawing back, the chin drawing back, little double chin there. Elbows right down by our sides, and the hands rest wherever they will on your lap. From there, let's talk about the face. Okay? No matter what you're doing in yoga or in meditation, we're always conscious of where we are looking. Sometimes we call it our drishti, sometimes we call it our gaze. Where your eyes go is where your mind goes. Where your mind goes is where your body goes. So we want to find one spot to look at that's right in front of us. And for me, that's about in the middle distance, so I can kind of see the tip of my nose, and then that's something right about there. Or you can close your eyes. For me, closing my eyes in meditation helps quite a lot. For you, you want to try it out and see. Sometimes when people close their eyes, it gives them a sense of peace and it's wonderful. Sometimes when people close their eyes, it makes them feel unsafe. And so it's not really a great place to start. You figure out on your own, try out a few things, see what works. I'm going to close my eyes right now because that's where my meditation feels best. So closing the eyes. Now we can take a few deep breaths. I always start, before I get into anything else, with a gentle hint of a smile. That gentle hint of a smile softens the mind and softens the body. Deep breath in, filling up the belly, filling up the ribs, lifting up the chest. And open the mouth and just let it out. And deep breath in, filling up the belly, ribs, and chest growing taller. Open the mouth, sigh it out. And one more time, big breath into the belly, rib cage, and chest. Let it out. And let's just sit here for a few moments. Just paying attention to the sensations in your body. Noticing the feel of the weight of your knees resting. The weight of your hands resting on your lap. The sensation of your seat. Just your butt on whatever it's sitting on. Notice that feeling. And moving your attention up the spine, just kind of checking in with each part of your body. Notice your shoulders. Your elbows. Your fingers, without moving them, just notice the sensation in the fingertips. Notice your neck. Your lips and your cheeks. Your eyes and your forehead. And just be here for a couple of moments with a general awareness of your body, general awareness of your breath. I like to find a place in my body where I can feel the breath. Sometimes that's the belly or the chest kind of rising and falling. And I like to watch the breath with the same casual observation that I would watch the oceans lapping against the shore if I was sitting on a beach. All right, remaining still, let's just become aware of the sensations in the palms of your hands. Keeping that awareness, bring the palms of your hands together at your chest. So we can open the eyes here if they were closed, and then we'll end our little meditation with a bow towards each other. Thank you guys for just being a part of this little bitty class online. And I hope to see you in some more of my live streaming classes so we can practice together in real time.